All right. What's up, everybody? My people in Manhattan, the Boogie Down Bronx, Queens, over at Staten Island, my home borough, Brooklyn. Back out another video, and don't worry, I'm going to be doing a video on what went wrong with the Brooklyn Nets and what changes need to be made very, very soon. But first, I want to do one on Trae Young because I think this is kind of important. Trae Young is a super talented player. Is he a superstar yet? No, but I'm a little tougher, more strict with that term superstar than Stephen A. Smith is, but but Trae Young has superstar potential. A great passer, a great competitor, cutthroat competitor, and a very talented scorer. In shooting, he's a very good shooter. Is he Steph Curry? Absolutely not. But there's no shame in that because who the hell is? But I think it's kind of important because Trae Young. I don't want him to end up like with all due respect, like a Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker, is a very talented small player. Kemba from the Bronx, by the way. Kemba from the Bronx. He was a very talented player in Charlotte. Got the Hornets to the playoffs, I think, 2 or 3 times in his, 8 years there. But overall, had no real success. Because Michael Jordan did a poor job building a team around him. But, at the same time, Kemba, because he had such a charismatic style with the killer crossovers, and he was a streaky scorer, he can get butts in seats. Allen Iverson, the same thing in Philadelphia, back in the day. Now, AI, of course, won an MVP, took the Sixers to the finals. He's an all-time great player, Hall of Famer. But, I hope Trae Young has become that for the standpoint of this. I hope that the Hawks truly intend to build a championship team around him. Not just use him to sell tickets because, it's Atlanta, it's the 8 towns, the Hollywood of the South, it's the Black Mecca. But, Trae Young, he needs to change up his playing style a little bit. He needs to play more like Steve Nash. Okay? And Trae Young is on record saying Steve Nash is his idol, as you can see right here. Let's read it right now. Trae, Nash is my basketball idol. Atlanta Hawks point guard Trae Young gives Ernie Johnson a lockdown update and explains why Steve Nash was his favorite player growing up. Atlanta Hawks point guard Trae Young said 2-time MVP Steve Nash was his favorite player growing up and remains his basketball idol today. Young joined Inside the NBA host Ernie Johnson for an NBA Together online event on Monday night with a 2018-19 Rookie of the Year runner-up discussing his favorite players and mentors coping with the lockdown, what he described as his embarrassing loss in recent NBA horse competition. Quoting Trae Young, Steve Nash, Chris Paul, a lot of those guys are my mentors today still. Nash was my favorite player growing up. I loved watching him. He's been my idol since I started playing basketball, Young said. I knew I wasn't going to be the biggest person in the world. Steve wasn't the biggest person either. But he had a big impact on the game. He could really score, pass with both hands. That drew me very close to Steve. At my size, I thought I could be similar. That's what made me gravitate to him. He controlled the game. He controlled the pace. He was one of the best point guards of all time for sure. Hawks head coach Lloyd Pierce played with Nash in their college days at Santa Clara. Nash, just something Young discovered in his first workout in Atlanta. Okay? Steve Nash, for all you don't know, was a great shooter. In fact, probably an underrated shooter. To me, he's an all-time great shooter. Okay, I'm going to show you in a minute. Nash, he's up there with some of the best shooters of all time. Okay? These are Steve Nash's numbers from 2004-05 to 09-10. Look at his shooting numbers. 50%, 51%, 53%, 50%, 50%, 50% from the field. Consistently. From the three-point line, 43%, 44. I'm rounding up. 43%, 44%, 45.5%, 47%, 44%, 43% from the three. 88% or 89%, excuse me, 92%, 89%, 90%, 93%, 93%. Steve Nash was an all-time shooter, all-time great shooter. The dude went 50, 40, 90 4 times in a 5-year span and kind of did it 6 years in a row. My point is, Trae Young is a very talented shooter as well. But I think Trae, we know what Trae's better at than shooting? He's better at passing than he is at shooting. Trae should focus on his passing, and the Hawks should give him some players, who are three-point snipers or who, that Steve, he's got DeAndre Hunter, he's got, John Collins. I believe John Collins is still there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but, he needs his Amari Stoudemire, somebody he can dump it off to who can get the dunk or the easy layup. He needs his Sean Marion, Leandro Barbosa, somebody who can shoot the rock when he kick it out to him. And if need be, when it's time for him to take over a game, he can take over. Because Steve Nash can take over a game. I mean, Steve Nash, with his shooting, Steve Nash probably could have averaged 28, 29, 30 points a game if he wanted to. But Steve Nash understood his best gift was his passing. Look at Trae Young shooting numbers. 42%, 43%, 43, 46%. 46% this year. That's not too bad. Not too bad. 3-point percent is 38% this year. That's not bad either. Free throw percentage, of course, that's great. But my point is, Trae Young's best gift is his passing. He should focus on getting his passing better than his shooting. Now, I'm not saying don't shoot at all, of course. If you need to take over a game and you need to score, do it. But pulling up from the logo three, stop doing that, bruh. Not everybody's going to be Steph Curry pulling up from the logo and making the shot consistently. Come on. But, there's a thing to that. Here's my thing with that. I think this is a problem as well. Okay, let me be clear. I'm not hating on these guys, any Migos or Gucci Mane, or any of these dudes. I listen to some of these dudes. But I think playing in Atlanta has an effect on Trae. Meaning it's giving him a big head. I think Trae Young feels the need to take logo threes and them long threes and get 28, 30, 35, 40 points, 50 points every night to impress and electrify the Atlanta crowd. Because Atlanta knows the Black Mecca is the Hollywood of the South. And you have Quavo, you have Gucci Mane, you have Lil Yachty, the whole Migos, you have Lil Jon sitting courtside. Jermaine Dupri. You have all those celebrities out there sitting courtside, in the playoffs. We saw Nelly sitting courtside. We saw Jay-Z sitting courtside at the Hawks games. I think because of that, Trae feels the need to take those long threes. If the long ball isn't falling, anybody who's played basketball, their coach told them this. When the long ball ain't falling, take layups. Take layups. Shoot some floaters, get some mid-range shots so you can get your rhythm back. And then take a three-point shot. But, just keep taking threes and threes and threes and longer threes. That's for lack of a better word, that's dumb. That's idiotic. Okay, I'm not saying Trae's an idiot, but, bro, stop doing that, bro. But I think because he plays in Atlanta, that affects him. And he feels the need to put on a show. So he feels like, I got to average 28 points a game and 8 assists a game, to get butts in seats and get this crowd hyped up. But when the rappers are going to be there no matter what. Now, of course, most people remember this Atlanta Hawks team. Back in 2014-15, this Hawks team won 60 games. Kyle Korver, DeMar Carroll, Al Horford, Paul Millsap, and Jeff Teague. This team won 60 games and got swept by LeBron's Cavs in the conference finals. This team didn't have a Trae Young. None of these guys could electrify the crowd like Trae Young could. They weren't as exciting to watch as Trae Young was. But you know what? They won 60 games, and they got those rappers who show up to the games now. They were at the games back then because they were winning. You don't have to average 30 and 11 assists to get the rappers and celebrities to show up. You could average, you could average 25 and 7. 25 and 7 or whatever, something like that. 25 and 6, whatever. And the rappers still going to show up. But if your team's winning 50 plus games, 60 plus games year in, year out, they're going to show up. So I think playing in Atlanta, this kind of affected Trae. It's kind of like, if you play in Los Angeles, you play in LA, you play for the Lakers, you got to feel the need to put on a show and impress impress Snoop Dogg and Jack Nicholson and all the celebrities who might show up at the game. You feel me? But the Hawks need to build a team around Trae because he's a very talented player. He couldn't be his generation's, Steve Nash, Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas from the Pistons, for all you don't know, look him up. That dude was dominant. And speaking of Isaiah Thomas, he said himself, look up Isaiah Thomas's numbers in the early to mid 80s before Chuck Daly, rest in peace, got there. Isaiah Thomas would get buckets, man. Get buckets, dish dimes, cross people over, dance on people. He was a beast. But Isaiah Thomas said in the Bad Boys documentary, Chuck Daly came to him and said, do you want to win or do you want to have fun? And then in the late 80s, early 90s, the championship years for the Bad Boys, Isaiah Thomas' numbers, he would average like 22, 23, and 10 assists, 11 assists. And then the championship years, they kind of went down. You know why? Because he sacrificed, he made his teammates better. Joe Dumars and Mark Aguirre and Bill Laimbeer, Rick Mahorn, Adrian Danley. They got rid of him, Vinnie Johnson. That's what great leaders do, and that's what great players do. But, that's just my opinion on it. What do you guys think? Tell me what you think in the comment section down below. And I'm going to see you all.